Good morning. Welcome back into Wake Up America. Glad you decided to join us this morning. I'm Rob Finnerty. Want to welcome in our powerhouse panel on this Thursday morning. We've got former Nevada State GOP chairwoman and Republican strategist Amy Tarkanian, attorney, Republican strategist, and Turning Point USA contributor. Quite a title there. Aaron Elmore is here. National Advisory Board member of Project 21. Christopher Arps is here, and constitutional attorney and Newsmax contributor Amir Benno back with us as well. Some news to break, and I've noticed this recently, Amy. The New York Times, I'm not going to say they are quite back to being all the news that's fit to print. I know there's been a lot of retractions because there's been a lot of bad reporting. But on Monday, an article came out. This is a quote. I want to get this right. And anybody that's watching, this is from the New York Times, by the way. There has not been, quote, a single documented COVID infection anywhere in the world from casual outdoor interactions. Now, I'm just doing some math in my head. There are 7 billion people on the planet, and we don't have one documented case. That means that, wow, maybe we can actually, not wear the mask outside. Where I'm going with this, in an article today in the New York Times, the head of the second largest teachers union today is going to say on a call to all the leaders of these other teachers unions that schools need to reopen in the fall, 5 days a week, all students, and this is in the New York Times. Do you think anyone will start to listen, finally?
No. And I would like to know.
Thank you very much, Amy. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
When we come back, we're going to get Amy on message. And then.
You have a hard break.
Yeah.
No. And I'd like to know, did they get this information from another anonymous source, as they normally do in their prior articles that they also choose not to retract? For the most part. No, and this is because they're getting pushback finally. You're seeing it across the nation where parents are fed up. They're actually attending their school board meetings and they are speaking out and standing up, and they are now putting their foot down. It's no longer just mom and dad dropping their child off in hopes that they, have a successful school day, and then they pick them up, ask them, how was your day? And then go about their business. No, now they are involved. Parents are forced to be involved in their child's education, find out what is being taught and how it's being taught. And I think this is actually a good thing because we have had parents, not really take that much interest into their own children's education for the most part.
That's a good thing. You're a mom of 4, Amy. Aaron, I know you've got kids. So here's the deal. Basically, and this is fascinating because when I was growing up, if a parent weighed in on a topic during a PTA, my mom, for example, that was taken really seriously. And today, you look at some of these teachers union meetings where parents are allowed to speak their minds. Parents are screaming and shouting, and they're just like, ha, ha, ha. No, it's totally different, Aaron.
It is, and I've witnessed this at my son's school. Even the PTA moms, which their job is to organize bake sales and keep you on a calendar, but my son's school offered reading white fragility. So I had to go to the headmaster and say, this isn't really the job, this is out of line. Parents are so opinionated right now because they realize their kids are not learning reading, writing, arithmetic, science. They're learning things like the 1619 Project and critical race theory when they can't even tie their shoes or do basic math.
Right.
So there are a lot of problems within our schools right now. The parents have actually had that light bulb moment and woken up and say, I need to be complicit in my child's education. I need to be an advocate for my child. What is my child learning? Are they on grade level for reading? Are they on grade level for other topics? Or are they learning about social justice in the classroom? So I think that these are important issues. I think that everyone watching today get involved locally, whether it's running for school board, city council, some sort of local government office, because if you want to be a voice for change, you have to be involved in the process.
All right, I want to talk about the gas situation. So Colonial Pipeline is back up and running. Chris, quickly, how's the situation in Missouri right now? I know typically, so right now, according to Gas Buddy, over 1,000 gas stations in the country are out of gas. North Carolina, 70% don't have any gas. Georgia, South Carolina, 50%. Many states up the eastern seaboard have numbers just like that. We haven't seen the national average over $3 a gallon since Joe Biden was vice president, and he still wants to raise the gas tax, something that hasn't happened since Bill Clinton was president.
Yeah, we've been really fortunate here in Missouri, Rob. One of the good things of living in flyover country is the cost of living is very cheap, and the gas tax in Missouri is one of the lowest in the country. So gas prices are spiking here, but we're not seeing what we're seeing on the East Coast and other parts of the country. Like I said last hour, starting tomorrow, my wife and I are traveling to South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, for a week vacation,
Yep.
and I'm terrified that we're not going to have enough fuel to make it down there, or not have enough fuel to make it back.
Yeah, I gassed up this morning before I came in. I mean, I'm buying into the hype myself, but I was like, and the hysteria, and there's been violence. People are fighting at gas stations to get gas. This is Joe Biden's America. Don't forget, Amir, Joe Biden got together with Jimmy Carter a week ago, and the last time we had gas lines like this was 1979 when Jimmy Carter was president, the famous malaise speech. And I don't know what they talked about, but I hope Jimmy Carter didn't give him any pointers.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, I think at this point, maybe we could say that Jimmy Carter did a better job than Joe Biden's doing. Joe Biden is really taking us down the rabbit hole of progressive policies that are tanking the economy here. We're seeing inflation. We're seeing shortages. We're seeing problems with immigration. We're seeing problems with Iran and in the Middle East. I mean, the crises are just exploding all over the place. Joe Biden is not a leader, sadly to say.
All right, so take a look at this. Joe Biden yesterday is in the White House, and he is speaking with all the leaders of both parties. He's got Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Mitch McConnell, and Kevin McCarthy in the Oval Office. Kamala Harris is there. They're sitting by the fireplace. There's not much going on in the country right now, Amy, right? Why would you want to take questions? It's not like one of those moments in presidential history where you'd want to address the media and address the American people. Look at how bizarre this was, the president's interaction when he was asked a question after speaking. Take a look.
Thank you.
What's your take on the end of your meeting, sir? Were you optimistic coming out of it today?
Which one of the 12 I've had?
Pelosi, Schumer, and the crew.
Infrastructure, sir, and in particular.
You guys are bad. I'm not supposed to be answering all these questions. I'm supposed to leave, but I can't resist your questions.
Amy, there's a crisis right now happening in Israel. There's been a crisis for 4 months at the border. We've got high gas prices. We've got inflation. You can go on. And this is the leader of the free world saying he's not supposed to answer questions. A, who's telling him that? And B, isn't this one of those moments when you'd want to be out there? By the way, I sound like Joe Biden. He always does that. He goes first, second, third, and he does it every single time. But wasn't that a bizarre interaction yesterday?
Yes, and I feel like sometimes he doesn't get to that third. Am I correct?
No, that's where I was going. I think he forgets that he was numbering them, and then he trails off.
Yeah. And then I'd also like to know, in that fireside moment that you mentioned where they were all gathering with Minority Leader McCarthy, were there name tags that were handed out? Because he also forgot Kevin McCarthy's name in another situation. The fact that he is just so lackadaisical about, wanting to crack jokes and be likable in these very intense and serious situations, like you've mentioned. We are in times with, a war with Israel. We are, seeing inflation skyrocket. We are having huge unemployment numbers still, and businesses can't employ staff. So I don't see why he finds that this is appropriate to be coy or cute, so to speak.
All right, just want to show you quickly while this is happening right now. Kevin McCarthy was front and center yesterday. He made it very clear that he wants to be Speaker in 2022. He was at a wreath-laying ceremony right now. I guess we're seeing the immediate aftermath, but he was out there laying a wreath. This is National Police Week, and it's interesting. These are the things that happen that typically don't get reported. It has been a very trying year for police nationwide. The recruiting numbers are at their lowest levels in more than a century, Chris, and the problem keeps getting worse because, kids at Halloween used to dress up as police officers, and if you weren't dressed up as Dr. Fauci this October 31st, people looked at you like you were weird, and that's the country today.
Yeah, we're seeing deprogram or defund the police movements all around the country. We have a brand new mayor here in St. Louis that was elected in April, and she has cut $4 million from the police budget. That same week that the budget was cut, we had 13 shootings in St. Louis with 3 people killed. So I think this progressive experiment of defunding the police is very, very dangerous, and I'm afraid we're going to have a hot, bloody summer, unfortunately.
I sure hope not. I know you're not far from Ferguson. That wreath laying was for honoring police there by Kevin McCarthy. Panel, really enjoyed it. Look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow on Friday. Great discussions all morning long. Thank you.